They broke into the mall for the wildest all-night party of their lives.
It's dead meat.
But you're never alone in the chopping mall.
What's that? Robot blood.
Chopping mall, where shopping costs you an arm and a leg.
Welcome to They Call This a Movie, testing the strength of friendships one terrible movie at a time. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and podcast services by searching They Call This a Movie. We are part of the Main Naming Network, and to find more from us, check out the website, themaindaming.com, or on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Main Naming. We are also now a proud member of Geek Vibes Nation. You can find them at gbnation.com. Welcome back to They Call This a Movie. This is Anthony Delvecchio, and with me as always is Dan Aquino and Mark Myers. Say hello, gentlemen.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
I feel like that I got cheated out of both in the area I live in and the time I grew up in, that I didn't get to experience mall, like the stereotypical mall.
Mall's a scene, man. You gotta grow up in Jersey. Got plenty of them.
It was awesome.
It's a place to be.
Spent every weekend at the Freehold Mall for a long ass time.
That's a good mall too.
It is.
People
a
don't
very
know.
Good mall.
People don't know the difference. If you don't grow up with a mall, sometimes you might not be able to tell the difference between a good mall and a bad mall.
Yeah.
Freehold Mall is choice mall.
Yeah,
not like Ocean County Mall, which is like C grade mall.
Yeah, they're a wannabe mall.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah, they have a lot of catching up to do. They're posers. Mm-hmm. Freehold Mall, that's the good shit.
Cherry Hill Mall's not bad.
You know what? I expected better.
Freehold Mall warps your idea of it. Yeah.
It really does. It's got a fantastic food court. It's got every shop you need.
It's huge.
It is. It's very big. It's got the AMC that's like right outside there.
Mm-hmm. Barnes and Noble across Route 9.
Yeah, Chili's.
Chili's
right
classic
next to it.
Chili's right there.
Yeah.
There's a racetrack if you want to go bet on some horses.
It's got everything.
Yeah, the closest mall to me was Deptford, and I was not able to drive over the bridge as a teenager every day.
I guess the whole point of this story was that you missed out, Mark, like big time.
Yeah.
Especially just not living in Central Jersey with access to the Freehold Mall specifically.
Damn it.
Sorry, everybody that didn't grow up with a Freehold Mall, you missed out.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's when you enter Central Jersey. It says home of the Freehold Mall, and that's its claim to fame. There's nothing else that goes on in Central Jersey.
Yeah. But before we get into the reason why we're talking about malls, gentlemen, what did you watch this week?
I watched a couple things on Netflix. I watched the Masters of the Universe Revelation. I watched 4 episodes of that.
Okay.
It's okay. It's fine. It's not, it's not for me anymore. I'm not a kid. But voice acting was well done. Animation is crisp. I grew out of He-Man and all that a long time ago, but I just wanted to see what all the hubbub was. But so far it's okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it. And then I watched a horror movie on Netflix called Blood Red Sky, which I did enjoy. It had a very Train to Busan kind of feel to it. It's German. It's German and English. I believe the main characters are German. So there are subtitles, unfortunately, for those of you who may not enjoy them, but it really doesn't take away from it. It's very good. It's a good horror movie. It's a self-contained type of movie. They're on an airplane. There's a vampire. There's terrorists. It lends itself to a whole lot of gory moments. And it's very intense. I would recommend it. Like I said, if you enjoy Train to Busan, I think this would be up your alley.
Okay, great. Mark, what about you?
Haven't done much in terms of movies and stuff. My week has been consumed with the 2020/21 Olympics. For those of you that don't know, my setup here, I have a TV plus like 3 monitors. So using NBC streaming tools, being able to watch 4 Olympic sports at once is this Olympic nerd's dream come true. To be able to watch judo and water polo at the same time. It's fun. And also, next time we get all together, I need to speak to your wife about what exactly dressage is. Because I watched some horse dancing, and I couldn't understand how you judge it. So...
It's all subjective, I'm pretty sure. I don't even know if she knows dressage, because she doesn't do dressage.
Yeah.
It's just fancy horse dancing.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
So-
that's the...
So the Olympics are kind of showing like low ratings, and it's even lower because you're accounting for 4 people, right? 4
He's
people
running the
watching
Olympics.
is just Mark.
Just me. 4 of them is me. And I don't even know if I watched the actual team. I just watched the... I get like the world feed because I get the British announcers.
Okay.
That because it's not the official, like, it's NBC, but it's not like the channels that are on TV. Like, it's the streams, and they all broadcast like the world feed, which I find better in some instances.
How unpatriotic of you.
Yeah. And also, I watch the events when they're live, which means the middle of the night or 6 a.m. So
Why don't you kneel during the national anthem too while you're
I
at
do
it?
every time.
Yeah.
It gets tiring after a while. We've won like 10 gold medals. So
Jeez.
Are we? I think last I looked, I think we were. The U.S. was still behind, right?
I think total medals we might be, but I think we had the most gold.
Gotcha.
But we lost one we should have had. We lost in softball. So
That's
yeah,
an
but
Olympic sport.
Yeah.
Jeez, I am so far behind. I
Yes,
don't pay attention to it.
So you might not know they have 3-on-3 basketball now. They have rock climbing, the sport. There is basically X Games, like skateboard, like skate park. That's an Olympic sport now. And coming in 2024 in Paris is breakdancing.
Nice.
So be on the lookout for that.
Is this the first year that baseball and softball have been back for some time?
Yeah.
Because I think it went away for a while.
They didn't have them last time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it wasn't in London either, but I know it wasn't in Rio. So
Real quick, we have the most medals at 25.
okay.
Japan has the most gold at 10.
Okay.
Very convenient for the host city.
Host nation always finishes like in the top 3.
Well,
most of the
Japan's
time.
also pretty good at something.
Well, not to dive into Olympic nerdery, but the reason that usually happens because the host nation gets a free competitor in each and every sport. Like they don't have to qualify. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I haven't watched a single thing in the Olympics this year. And it probably is consistent with how I've watched the Olympics several Olympics ago. But I did watch, spurned by Mark's almost choice from last week's pick, and I probably should have let him pick it. I watched The Mask of Zorro starring Antonio Banderas and Catherine Zeta-Jones this week. For the first time in probably 20 years. And what a delightful movie.
It's fun, right?
It's just fun. Yeah. Mark, I was right to not let you pick it, but at the same time, I should have let you pick it. What a fun time I had. I was also in a hot tub and day drunk, but I had a great time with it.
I think that makes you a little biased, right? Because like
I
the
could've watched
surrounding.
I could have watched Jupiter Ascending, and I would have had a good time in that setting.
Yeah, you're just in that perfect setting where anything goes.
I was 2 16-ounce beers in, feeling good. It's in a hot tub at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Sunday. Just living life, living my best life.
That qualifies as living your best life for sure.
Mm-hmm. But Anthony Hopkins is great in it.
Oh, yeah.
Catherine Zeta-Jones is like otherworldly hot in it. So is Antonio Banderas.
I think Catherine Zeta-Jones kind of coasted off of that. Like she was in another stratosphere. Yeah, and then she just kind of rode that.
Yeah,
entrapment. Yeah. She was back to back. You know.
Is that with Clooney?
No, that's with Sean Connery. That's the
Yeah.
one where she's going under the lasers.
Or the infrared razors.
And just her ass is just on display in that whole scene.
I never saw that. All right. So you're probably correct there, but I just remember I saw Mask of Zorro, or just Zorro, and
this is Mask of Zorro.
It was Mask of Zorro, yeah.
Yeah.
And just, oh man, I had an epiphany. I was like, man, I love this woman. This something deep inside me.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. She was great. Anthony Hopkins. I almost said Anthony Mackie. Totally different person. Anthony Hopkins, great. Antonio Banderas. He's kind of having a little bit of a resurgence.
Yeah. What was he in recently?
Was it Priest or something like that? Was he? He was nominated for an Oscar last year, was he not?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I thought he was.
So when you were watching Catherine Zeta-Jones, then 5 minutes later when Antonio Banderas showed up, were you equally as wowed by him?
I think I said last
now.
episode. Like I said last episode, I might not be bisexual, but like I get it watching those two. When two people of that caliber of attractiveness are in a movie, they should be forced to procreate. It's like, oh well, sorry guys, you have to have a kid now because we can't waste this opportunity of you two being in the same vicinity together. Like we need to produce the hottest person ever created, like right now.
Yeah.
He was in The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. That's the movie that he was in recently.
But he was not nominated for that. I think it's called Pain and Glory. So he received, it was his first ever Academy Award nomination for Salvador Malo.
There you go. He's also in the Uncharted movie coming up in post production. He's also got new Puss in Boots sequel, as well as he's in the untitled Indiana Jones project. So he's got a lot of stuff coming out.
He was just announced.
Sounds like he's got a great 2022.
We're in the middle of the Banderas. Right?
I bet you it sounds better if you tried to do that in Spanish.
Yeah.
It also sounded better the 6 times I was practicing it before actually saying it.
Again, when I first saw that movie, I was young and I definitely I wasn't as open-minded as I am now. But I wasn't attracted to Antonio Banderas, but now it's just like I'm comfortable in myself and say like, yeah, he looks very good in that movie.
Yeah, it's like probably not, but there would be that moment of just like, well, maybe.
Well, because he would be so tender. And he would just whisper those Spanish words into your ears, and you would melt. You would just melt into Antonio Banderas.
Right, and especially if it comes with a tag team to Catherine Zeta-Jones. It's like these two approach you. It's like, hey, you want to have a 3-way? It's like, how do you say no to that?
You don't.
Like,
you can't.
Yeah, it's like, when am I ever going to get this opportunity ever again?
Right. It wouldn't even just be for the story. I think that would just be a very good time.
It might be the highlight of your life.
Yeah,
really.
I would be honored.
Yeah, I think anybody would be honored, right?
Yeah. I mean, you personally bring down that average to like a cool 6.5, but
I go low.
But I mean us, everybody in general, basically.
No, it's they were just, and that sword fight scene when he essentially strips her with his sword.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. That's just like, I remember everyone talked about how awesome that scene was, and it definitely was.
Yep, it's a fun movie. If you haven't seen it in 20 years, it's on Prime. I suggest it. It's a great time. Yeah. But that's all I watched this week. So we're gonna take a quick break, and you guys are gonna listen to some ads, and we're gonna pay some bills. So we'll be right back. And welcome back. Now it's time to get into this week's movie. And this week was my pick, and I wanted to go with something safe because I've seen this movie before, and after Jupiter Ascending, I think we needed to restart our engines. So I went with the cult classic horror film from 1986 known as Chopping Mall. Gentlemen, where are you coming from with Chopping Mall?
I could have sworn that we had covered this for some reason because this is right up our alley. I've seen it once. This is my second time seeing it, and I love it. It's such a good campy 80s horror film. It's got Dick Miller in it, so you know you're in good hands when Dick Miller shows up in your horror movie. Barbara Crampton is in it. She's always a delight. Man, this movie, you know what, I was watching this and I kept thinking to myself, you know what this movie needs? This movie needs like RoboCop. There needs to be a Chopping Mall RoboCop crossover.
Sure.
Where RoboCop kind of gets demoted to mall security.
I actually have a question here. related to that, so I'll ask it now. Is this A, the best remake of Dawn of the Dead, B, the best prequel to the Terminator, or C, the best sequel to RoboCop?
I gotta go RoboCop, right? I mean,
I guess D, all of the above.
Oh, yeah.
I did have in my mind saying, like, I kept thinking, like, this is the perfect acronym for how humans are, man. We're just so robotic in our shopping malls.
Yeah, what about you, Mark? Where you come from?
Yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised. Usually when you pick these campy horror movies, I know I'm in for a good time. And also about a quarter of the way through the movie, and I realized that a couple of the actresses, we knew Barbara Crampton was in it beforehand, like was in one of my favorite movies that you introduced me to, Night of the Comet, was in this movie as well. I was like, okay, I think I know what type of movie I'm in for. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. As the opening conversation alluded to, the aesthetic of 80s malls makes me feel like I missed out on something, because between this and Fast Times at Ridgemont High mall scenes, the beginning of this, the way they set it up, kind of reminded me a little bit of the introduction to the dating show in Mallrats.
Okay.
Like how it's in the center of the mall, and they're doing all that. I was, for some reason in my head, I'm like, is this something that happened a lot at malls, or did Kevin Smith take some inspiration from this, to this opening scene? Which either way could be true. But I think my favorite part of watching through this was being reminded that there was once a thing known as cigarette vending machines.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact of, I laughed out loud when the guy goes, "Oh man, $1.25."
Those are outrageous prices, man.
Outrageous. Oh man, who carries 5 quarters with them? Yeah. So, and we'll get to it a little bit later, but this was the first time in a while with horror movies with you guys where I immediately completely turned on one of our characters and was very happy when they died.
Was it the guy that would never stop chewing gum?
He was number one, but that was from the beginning. Like, I'm like, that's the guy that's got to die. Like, he's the most annoying one. I know what these movies are like. I got it. But no, from the vent scene forward, I wanted Barbara Crampton to die.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Oh, you can't say that. She's a national treasure.
Her character, whatever her character's name was. Because as soon as she started going, like, I didn't understand why they, like, was the vent starting to get hot? Is that when it started walking on their sleeves?
Yes, the computers were turning it up because they knew that they were in the vents. So they're turning on the heat.
I would have been fine if, like, her full motivation was to get out of there because of the heat. But then she started yelling, "I think he needs help. What if he needs help? He can't survive without me. What if it..." I don't know. I completely turned on her in that thing and was very pleasantly surprised, happy. I was like, all right, good. She's out of there.
Yeah. I've seen this once before. We covered it on 31 Days of Horror a few years ago. I love this movie. It's so much fun. The music is great. I looked up the vinyl on Waxwork Records. Luckily, it was sold out because I totally would have bought it right there. The kills are great. There's a head explosion scene, which is fantastic, because who doesn't love seeing a good head explosion scene? It's a simple story. It's campy as fuck. It doesn't take itself too seriously. What a great time this movie is. It's less than 80 minutes long, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I think it's like 75 minutes long. It doesn't wear its welcome. This was such a nice palate cleanser from Jupiter Ascending. Yeah, I had a great time. This is exactly what I wanted from my pick this week. It was just something that was nice and easy,
And a question for you guys as mall aficionados. Did the malls all have space-like doors that lock the mall shut at the end of each night?
I never got locked in the Freehold Raceway Mall, so I have no idea. They did not have a sporting goods store with guns.
For some reason, the store that stuck out to me was the Almond World. A world of almonds. Like, was that a thing?
Yeah, I mean, they just sell almonds, or is like
right.
Other nuts too?
I would hope so, or else that well, man, I really need some almonds. Well, I got the perfect place for you, man. Step on in.
You guys also sell walnuts? Get the fuck out of here.
What the fuck do we look like?
To say Walnut World, asshole.
It's Stranger Things has the whole third season is set in the mall.
Yeah.
This mall felt more realistic
Mhm.
than Stranger Things version of Starcourt. This felt a little bit more realistic. I loved it. I thought it was great. The team, the characters are all serve their purpose. I still feel bad for Barbara Crampton because she just keeps like getting naked for like weird dudes.
Yeah.
While I was watching the movie, my wife was getting ready for her stream, and the part comes on when Barbara Crampton and this guy are making out. They're getting ready to fuck, and he goes, "You smell like pepperoni." and my wife
this is great.
My wife just goes, "That's so sexy."
Did she stay there for the second half of the line?
Oh yeah, she heard the
Where
whole
he
thing.
goes, "Well, I love pepperoni."
Yeah, and he's so creepy with his delivery. Wait a minute, I love pepperoni.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's even worse.
He sounds like the guy at the beginning of Night of the Living Dead. They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Yeah,
He sounds like, I love pepperoni. Like it sounds like he's gonna eat her, and not sexually.
Nothing, man. That's got to be like instant dry spell right there. I love pepperoni. Done.
Yep.
Night's over. Time to go home.
Yep. This movie's great. So Chopping Mall, directed by Jim Wynorski, who has a similar kind of career to another director we covered, Fred Olen, where he does a whole bunch of B movies as well as family direct-to-videos as well as our favorite softcore parody films. So he's got Death Stalker 2, Munchie, 976 Evil 2, Busty Cops 2, Cleavage Field, The Hills Have Thighs, and A Doggone Christmas.
Wait, is Cleavage Field supposed to be Cloverfield?
Yes, it is.
Oh, wow. So now I'm just picturing a giant busty woman terrorizing New York.
I was picturing a disembodied bust.
That'd be even better. Just
It
throwing
stars
around the monument.
Yeah. It stars Kelly Maroney, Tony O'Dell, Russell Todd, Carrie Emerson, Barbara Crampton, Nick Siegel, John Terlesky, Susie Slater, Paul Bartel, Maria Warrenov, Dick Miller, and Garrett Graham. Has an IMDb score of 5.6 and a Rotten Tomato score of 50%. Budget $800,000, and there was no box office numbers to be had. But this is a great one. Yeah, I can't really say anything more besides that it's great.
Was the guy from Gremlins in this in anything else, or is it just Gremlins that I recognize them from?
The janitor?
Yeah.
That's
He's in a
Dick Miller.
bunch.
He was in The Burbs. He was in
That's
Night
it.
of the
Okay.
Night of the Creeps.
Terminator.
Yeah, Terminator. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Dick
Yeah.
Miller.
I think he was also in. He was in a movie with Tom Atkins. Night of the Creeps.
Night of the Creeps. Yep.
Yeah.
He was like in the original Little Shop of Horrors from like the 50s.
Yeah. He's like an 80s horror staple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
so-
only thing that was coming to mind was Gremlins when I saw him, but I'm like, I know I've seen him in other stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
I think this was a Roger Corman production, and I think Dick Miller was a favorite of Roger Corman. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
He shows up in a lot of that stuff. Yeah. You guys want to get in the plot? I got no reason not to.
Yeah.
All right. Dan, what do you got for us this week?
All right. So as always, Tia, Brittany, you know them, you love them. Their podcast, Top 10 with Tia, they get together every week and they talk about top 10 lists. So go check them out at TC_Stark. She will post where you can listen to it. You could also go to Geek Vibes Nation, I believe, and it's there. She is also the head writer for Geek Vibes Nation, so she does a lot of movie reviews, TV reviews, and just all the stuff that's going on in pop culture. She's writing about it. She's awesome. Good friend of the podcast. Check her out.
Okay, great. And we are going to take a quick break, and you guys are going to listen to some messages from friends of the podcast. And we will be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Steve,
And this is Adam,
and we're part of the Hop Nation USA podcast.
Pittsburgh's #3 craft beer podcast.
Join us every Friday for new beer reviews.
We'll talk about the news, history, and homebrewing.
Plus, we'll sit down with the best brewers and industry personalities that'll have us.
So whether you're a casual drinker, a hazy boy hophead,
Or even if you're a whale hunting cellar hoarder.
just search Hop Nation USA on Apple, Spotify, or your favorite podcatcher and join the nation.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. It's me, George, from the best little horror house in Philly, the show where we talk about the best horror movie ever made, according to our guest at least. We've talked about groundbreaking classics like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Alien, but we've also got a lot of great ones coming up, including some very fun guests like Len Kabaczynski of Swamp Zombies and Red Letter Media fame, Caroline Williams, the star of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and Chase Williamson from John Dies at the End. So make sure you're subscribed to the best little horror house in Philly, and I'll see you boils and ghouls over there.
And welcome back. Now it's time to get into the plot for Chopping Mall. We open on some punk breaking the window of a mall jewelry store. He pockets a whole bunch of merchandise into his sweatshirt and walks off. As he goes to make his exit, a robot comes around the corner and tells him to surrender his weapon. He shoots at it a few times, and when that doesn't work, he decides to run for it. The robot chases after him as he continues to shoot at it through the mall. Eventually, the robot tases him. And then the end comes up on screen, and we realize this is some sort of promotional video for Secure Tronics Unlimited. And there's some sort of presentation going on in the middle of a mall. So a woman addresses the crowd who is sitting in the presentation and introduces Dr. Stan Simon, who unveils the company's protector robots.
I kind of wanted this doctor's name to be some kind of like pun or something, like Dr. Acula or something like that.
I was when I remember the first time watching this movie, and subsequently this one, the couple that are in the front of the I guess the crowd.
Yep.
And they're just making these really weird, off-putting comments. When they're talking about the robots, the wife goes, "They look like the Three Stooges. They're metal robots. They look nothing like anything."
Yes.
And the husband says one of them looks vaguely ethnic.
Oh, yeah. The 80s, man.
What is ethnic? What about a silver robot is ethnic looking?
So these two people are Mary Warrenov and Paul Bartel are the actors. They played the same characters in the film Eating Raoul, which is a black comedy written and directed by Paul Bartel himself. I don't know what the connection is otherwise, but they're playing the same characters from that film. So in that movie they have a restaurant, and they mention how they might be able to use one of those robots for their restaurant
to get rid of undesirable people.
Yeah.
So ethnic people.
I mean, maybe Raoul was ethnic.
I guess it's such a weird thing. You don't need to have them in the movie.
It's a very weird reference that nobody would get.
Right.
Right. I mean, maybe Eating Raoul was another Roger Corman movie, or maybe Jim Wynorski helped with that, or maybe they're just friends with Paul Bartel. You know, Paul Bartel and Jim Wynorski might be friends, and they're just like, oh, you know, come here, play this role for a day. You get a day rate, and we'll make a reference to your movie. You know, that's probably what it was. But it seems to lean heavy on that reference. Like it feels like you're supposed to know who these people are and who they're playing. It was like, well, sure, really, Eating Raoul became that classic film that everybody knows.
Yeah, that movie sounds like a real film snob kind of movie. Like, oh, you've never seen Eating Raoul? Oh man, well, what do you know about cinema?
I'm sure Martin Scorsese knows Eating Raoul.
Oh, he learned so much from Eating Raoul. That he got his signature movie style.
So, Dr. Simon tells the crowd that the robots are programmed to detain intruders using a number of subduing actions and are wired to notify the police once the intruder is apprehended. He also demonstrates the name badges that workers at the mall will have on them so they can work without the protectors thinking that they are intruders. And then credits, as we get some establishing shots of the mall with some excellent synth music playing. It goes on for quite a long time as we get basically the entire layout of this mall. We see all the shops until we eventually settle on a restaurant as Allison and Susie, our waitresses, talk about a party that Allison is unsure she wants to go to because she doesn't know anyone.
Yeah, is it anywhere in the trivia, and it might just be me having not seen Fast Times in a while, could this possibly be the same pizza parlor as Fast Times?
I did not see if that was true. I believe this is the same mall from Commando.
Okay.
That's all I remember.
I haven't seen Commando in a while either to know if I am making the connection for that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, it just looks very familiar. Or maybe a lot of those malls had that type of pizza shop in California, because I'm assuming it was filmed in California in the 80s.
Yes. We also talk about a sleazy regular patron to the restaurant that tends to get grabby with the waitresses. And we cut to the control room for the mall that houses the protector robots. Control room gets struck by lightning while one watchman looks over the robots. Then he starts looking at some porn, and then the robots come to life and strangle the watchman.
There's one
Who
thing
watches
about
the Watchmen?
There's one thing about that kind of confused me. There's zero way these robots should be able to sneak up on anybody.
Yeah, they're very stealthy.
They show up out of nowhere. And in the introduction of these robots, they are super fucking loud. They basically run on tank treads.
Yeah.
And they make clanking sounds with their little their grabby hands. What were those things called? It is basically like a grabber on a stick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
and
Mr. Grabber.
Yeah, Mr. Grabber. Like these things are just nothing but a cacophony of noise, but they always seem to get the drop on our characters.
Yeah, they're stealthy when they need to be, right?
Yeah, do they have? It would be cool if they mentioned, they have a stealth mode.
Right. It should always be on, right?
right, to sneak up on the bad guys.
Mm-hmm. At the furniture store, Nerdy Ferdy has apparently been convinced to let Brennan and Greg, two other employees at the furniture store, throw a party at the store after hours with beer and girls. And Brennan's gum, apparently. Ferdy, by the way, is the owner's uncle. And apparently Susie is bringing along her friend Allison, specifically so Allison and Ferdy can meet, because they're both single. Outside, somewhere on the way to the mall, a husband and wife mechanic team have to service their own truck as they plan to head to the party at the furniture store. And they do. And the mall starts to close as Brennan, still chewing that gum, cops a feel on his girlfriend Leslie as she works at a clothing store.
The mechanic people, did they mention something in the car that they own the furniture store, or?
No, they started the mechanic business.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It confused me a little bit.
No. The owner of the store is Ferdy's uncle.
Got it.
Question for you guys. Would you party in an empty mall?
Yeah, probably.
It seems like the best place to do it, right?
Or 80s mall.
At any point in your life.
Yeah. Why not? That's as good of a place to party as any. You're still partying, right?
I agree. I don't think I think we need to see more of that in film and TV, because that is the best place to party. I think you have everything around you.
I wouldn't throw a party at a furniture store, but if you said, "Dude, party's going down at the furniture store. Go bring a sleeping bag. We're going to party sleepies all night long." Or Mattress Firm, I guess, is what it is now. And then I try and figure out if Mattress Firm is actually a front for money laundering.
Yeah, it's definitely like a crystal meth operation going on at the back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be too picky of where a party takes place as long as we're partying down.
That would be a great twist to this movie, right? There's actually the guy who owns the mattress place or the furniture store is laundering money through there, and the protectors turn out to be the good guys all along.
Yeah. I mean, I hope everybody's just having sex about 10 feet away from each other.
That was kind of awkward. They're very comfortable with themselves.
Yeah, right. I mean, Brendan is just going to town on his girlfriend, who is very vocal about it.
Which makes me feel like he's not the king. Right? If you need to yell at the top of your lungs, I feel like she's just kind of boosting his ego.
Yeah.
At least that's how it's explained to me.
She wants to encourage the effort, right?
Exactly. Or she's just like, finish already.
Yeah. He talks about the party, which almost blows it, as Leslie's dad is the owner of the store and overhears them talking, but they come up with a cover and leaves. Then Allison and Susie talk at the mall's locker room, which I'm not sure is a thing, and Allison gets permission to go to a party from her dad, and Susie tells Allison that Ferdy, the guy she's being set up with, has a great personality. Back at the control room, another robotics employee comes in trying to find the other guy, but can't, so he eats his food and then sits down to read. Then, after a phone call by someone looking for the first guy, the robot attacks this guy too and kill him. And the furniture store party is now in full swing. The mechanic couple are there along with Leslie, Allison, and Susie. Susie has some pretty amazing dance moves, which I made sure to notice. Everyone is paired up except for Ferdy and Allison. Ferdy spends way too much time in front of the mirror in the bathroom until Susie and Greg drag him out to introduce him to Allison, both of which exchange awkward highs, and then Susie and Greg start making out and leave. One of the protector bots is patrolling the mall, currently functioning as it's supposed to. And later on, the party has now devolved into the couples fucking on the furniture, as Ferdy and Allison watch old monster movies on a small TV no more than 10 feet away. Everyone's about 10 feet away from each other at this moment, and Ferdy offers to take Allison home, but she says she wants to stay a little while longer, and they make out.
Yeah, I feel like maybe I just wasn't cool enough growing up, but I don't know if I'd ever been in a situation where I am chill about sitting on the couch and two other couples are having sex 15 feet away from me.
And you gotta loosen up a little bit, brah.
I have seen that happen. And honestly, I wasn't that bothered by it. But that's just me, I think. And I'm definitely kind of weird when it comes to that stuff. But
yeah.
Dan take.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't want to be that guy. They were very nice. They asked me if they could know their thing, and I was like, I don't want to be that guy to tell my buddy no.
I'm saying that more. I wouldn't be upset, but I wouldn't be like Ferdy and Allison here. I'd just be like, you know what, guys, we're gonna go. We're gonna check out the video store down the street. You guys do what you have to do. We'll be back.
There is an entire mall where these two could just be like, hey, you want to go for a walk for a little bit?
Yeah.
Get to know each other.
Yeah, I couldn't be as chill as they were on that couch watching a movie.
Go to the world of almonds.
Go to the world of almonds.
I mean, Ferdy's probably got a nut allergy.
Yeah. Man, that would be a great line. I wish I could have heard that. Because then it just like totally, it really drives home the world of almonds. I actually, I don't know if was that a real store? I feel like it was, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, a lot of other, there's a McDonald's there.
Yeah.
I think there's, what was the one kiosk? It did have Sony products or what? Oh, Casio. It had Casio. So they had legit stuff there. Maybe it's real. I don't know.
I mean, it was a working mall.
Right. That's what I'm thinking.
What if like one of the protector bots like picked up Ferdy and just tossed him into world of nuts or whatever it was called, and he had that allergy just swelled up?
That'd be hilarious. That'd be so good.
He swelled up like the Toxic Avenger. Starts clawing at Allison. Kill me.
He doesn't have his EpiPen.
Sadly enough, there does not seem to be a world of almonds on Google as an actual business.
I feel like it's like an Orange Julius. I know they're out there, but I've never seen one.
Right. Out in the mall, Dick Miller shows up as a janitor. A very surly janitor at that. He gets hassled by some of the more shiftless janitors as he's working his ass off, and they're just having some beers. They leave, and then a protector bot comes over and knocks Dick Miller's mop bucket over. Starts cursing out the bot, which then shoots out an electrical wire onto the wet floor and then uses it to electrocute Dick Miller. Then he's dead. Then he tells him to have a nice day for his troubles.
I was really hoping that Dick Miller was going to have more of a role, but he dies semi-quickly in a lot of the movies he's in.
Yeah. Terminator.
Yeah, he just gets blown away by Arnold. Hey, you can't put the ammo in. Boom.
And then one of the greatest cuts of all time is Brennan says, "Smoking kills," as we get a close-up of Dick Miller's smoldering corpse. And Brennan and Leslie have just finished doing the deed. Brennan still with gum in his mouth.
Oh, yeah. Man, it reminded me of when we're going to peel the onion back here a little bit. We had a sketch comedy group that we did for a little while. called Shoot the Glass Picks. You can search it on YouTube, listener. But we had a sketch where I played David Lee Roth, and I'm just constantly chewing gum, and I have a shit-eating grin on my face. I just kept thinking of me in a blonde wig as David Lee Roth. Like, that's how I probably look, like an asshole.
Yeah. Now officially, you were covered David Lee Roth.
I was covered David Lee Roth. Yes, I did. I was not actual David Lee, but
Wait a second.
Yeah. I know. I'm sorry. I broke kayfabe there.
It's real to me, damn it.
Now Leslie is looking for a post-coital cigarette, and she's not satisfied with Camels, which the boss apparently keeps somewhere in his desk. Leslie sends Brennan out to the mall to get her some Virgin Slims. But not before. Leslie flashes Brennan as enticement for him to make it a quick trip.
A+ boobs, by the way.
Yep, can't complain. It's pretty good nudity in this movie.
Yeah, it's not gratuitous.
No. I mean, it is, but I mean that moment there is like the most gratuitous.
I would also say that Barbara Crampton had her need to face the camera while taking her shirt off.
With the pepperoni thing. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is very gratuitous.
Yeah, very attractive women in the movie.
Yeah.
Even the ones that didn't get naked.
Who the automotive couple, right? She doesn't get naked.
She gets down to her underwear.
Right.
And Kelly Maroney doesn't either. She's always fully clothed.
She's the nerd.
Yep.
Yeah, nerds don't get naked ever.
No. That's why she survives.
That's right.
Thanks,
Modesty.
Jamie Kennedy.
Yeah, modesty is the key to survival in horror movies.
Mm-hmm. So Brennan heads out and finds a cigarette machine because it's the 80s. And while he's digging around with it, one of the protector robots approaches and asks for identification. Brennan shows it his badge, and then the protector bot flails its arms and approaches Brennan, apparently finding his badge insufficient identification. Brennan tries to escape through a door, but it's locked, so the protector bot shoots him with a tranq dart and then grabs him by the neck. So then Leslie heads out to look for Brennan. Meanwhile, Susie and Greg are still going at it as Ferdy and Allison are still on the couch talking. Leslie goes to the cigarette machine and literally stumbles over Brennan's body. As she tries to shake him awake and curses him out, she realizes that his throat has been cut and he's dead. And the protector bot comes out of the door and chases Leslie, shooting lasers at her. She tries to make it to the store, but the bot blows her head off in one of the best head explosion scenes that doesn't take place in Scanners.
It's an excellent head explosion.
It's great. All the other kids are witnesses to this as blood covers the windows of the furniture store. And then two protector bots just bust the fuck into the furniture store, shooting the place up with lasers, destroying everything in their path. The scene probably goes on for way too long, and some shots might be used more than once.
I know this is a very low budget film, but it was kind of awkward to see how but I am glad that the robots shot lasers from their visor. Like, that's cool, but it looks really bad. It's not a good effect. It aged very poorly.
Yeah.
And I guess the director's telling them, all right, you got hit, because they'll just like jump awkwardly a little bit. Oh.
The kids managed to lock themselves in the stock room just as the security doors locked them inside the mall for the night. Now they're stuck in there until 6 a.m. The protector bots start trying to break through the doors using some plastic explosives in the locks. The group find an air vent and start pushing the girls through to get to the other side. As the group pushes the last girl up the vent, the bots break through and the guys run off as the girls head through the air vent. As the girls crawl through, they realize the computers have turned on the heat and they're trying to sweat the girls out. Also, the surface of the vent is now starting to warm up. Susie starts to freak out. The guys manage to make it into the mall and head to Peck and Paul's sporting goods store to load up on some firepower.
I call that moment her heel turn.
I've never been in a mall that had a sporting goods store that sold guns, but between this and Dawn of the Dead, it had to be a thing, right?
Yeah, and also they probably wouldn't sell them right in the front of the store.
Yeah.
Where just a random kid could just come by. Oh, look.
Boom. Guns.
Yeah, right. I'm a cowboy. Blows his parents away.
Yeah, I would assume it's hunting purposes, obviously.
Sure.
But I don't. Of the guns they pick up, like picking up the shotgun is fine, but the revolver or whatever the hell Ferdy picks up, along with I think the other guy picks up a automatic rifle.
He picks up like an AK.
Yeah, I think it's like an AR-15 or something like that.
Yeah, if one of them would have picked up a hunting rifle along with the shotgun, I could have excused the pistol or revolver being in there. But it just looked like they had a very set thing. Like, okay, the pistol is going to come back around later to be a reference to something, and this other guy's going to reference Rambo. What guns does Rambo use? Oh, he uses his big machine gun. So of course that's what he's going to have.
And you got to have a shotgun in a horror movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's easily the best gun to have in a horror movie.
And they went the next step and gave him was that a bandolier or whatever it's called, with the bullet strap around?
Yeah. That's pretty badass.
I believe the proper term is shells.
Shells, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the shotgun shells, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think what they were going for was just a wide array of weapons, essentially. Like it would be cool to have just like all shotguns, but I think it's nicer to have a little bit of a variety.
Sure. And it winds up not mattering at all.
No, these things are bulletproof.
They're bulletproof. And these guys never seem to figure that out.
It's like RoboCop, right? Yeah. They just shoot the shit out of RoboCop. And everything's just pinging off of him. Like, oh, well, maybe if we shoot him another 100 times, it'll go through.
So they strap some guns and a gas can and go robot hunting. Guys find one, fire some shots to get the bot's attention, and one of them comes rolling around to the noise. And the guys start shooting at the bot, which trades some laser fire at them. Ferdy rolls a gas can at its wheels, and they blow it up. And one protector bot is seemingly now destroyed. Susie continues to freak out and says Greg needs her, so she kicks out one of the vent grates to climb out of the vent, and the other two girls follow her. They wind up in a hardware store, and while Allison and Linda think it's a bad idea, they decide to arm themselves with a few things around the store. One of the protector bots decides to take a nap in the corner. Meanwhile, the girls start making Molotov cocktails with the gasoline cans and load up on road flares. And then the destroyed, quote-unquote, bot wakes back up and straightens itself out again. Meanwhile, the guys rig the elevator with gas cans. As the girls go to try and find the guys, the sleeping robot wakes back up and starts chasing them.
My favorite part about the elevator thing is he runs over and starts hitting the button, and then goes, "Damn it! I knew the computer would take over the elevator."
Right.
It's like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Susie freaks out again while Allison throws Molotov cocktails at the bot, but it rolls right through the fire unaffected. The girls run, but Susie gets hit in the calf by a laser and is incapacitated. As the girls, quote-unquote, try to come to her aid, the bot shoots lasers at them, forcing them to take cover, and shoots the gas can in Susie's hand, and she catches fire and dies. This is a tough one to watch because she is so helpless, and then she just catches fire and slowly dies.
Yeah, it's a long, agonizing death.
Yeah. Barbara Crampton deserved more. Deserved better.
She deserved a head explosion.
Yeah, right.
But it could be worse. Like you could be the boyfriend who just takes a swan dive off of the third floor of the mall. That's pretty bad.
Or the guy that tries to ram it with a slow moving car.
I wrote down the most useless death in horror history.
Oh my god.
What was that?
We'll get to it. Yeah, but
robot blood.
Rick goes out like a bitch.
It's so bad. We'll get to it, but it reminds me of a different scene in a movie. But yeah, we'll get. It's so stupid.
So the guys come and Greg starts unloading his shotgun and the bot to no effect, and then the group runs upstairs. One of the bots goes into the elevator to go upstairs, and Rick hops onto the roof to set the gas cans and jumps off. The rest of the group then shoots wildly at the cans but can't hit any of them until Allison grabs a gun and shoots it in one shot because her dad was a Marine.
I don't know if that makes any sense, right?
I mean, he probably showed her. It was probably an abusive household, I guess, and he was like, "You're gonna learn how to shoot a gun."
Right. It's like I hate in movies how that like always corresponds. Like, oh, my dad was this, so automatically I'm awesome at it. It's like, all right, well, my dad was car salesman. Doesn't mean I could go into a dealership tomorrow and sell you that old beat up hunk of junk.
Dan, you gotta get into the family business.
Right.
Sell me this fucking car now.
Oh, okay, just don't hit me. If I don't sell the car, I get beat.
Yeah, and this was the whole point of Ferdy getting revolver pistol thing.
Yeah.
Was so they could have this moment where she could do the slow targeting, to show that she was a professional.
This is like the same exact thing that happens in Skyscraper, right?
Yeah.
God, that was
Anna Nicole Smith's husband takes her shooting, and she has to think back to that time where he took her shooting and they fucked
that's
to let us know that she knows how to fire a gun. But in this flashback in that movie, doesn't she say that her dad was a Marine or something like that, and she was already good? I feel like that happens in that movie too.
You know how long ago that was? That was like 4 years ago.
That was like episode 3 of this show. Yeah.
We did Land of the Lost.
2018.
Yeah,
2018.
Land of the Lost. Then
I think we did. I think we did our
Fantastic
mini
Four.
shit. Fantastic Four. Yeah.
And then Skyscraper.
Yep.
Oh God, what a blast from the past. But yeah, that does sound about right.
Yeah. The group retreats to the restaurant, and Linda, for some reason, decides to do the calculations on the damage they've caused at the mall, as if they wouldn't get a nice settlement if they were to survive all of this.
Thank you. Yeah. It's like we'd be in hock for 85 years. Like, no, sweetheart, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Like the mall is going to owe you a substantial amount of money.
That wrongful death suits for so many people.
Yeah, that company is going under so fast.
Oh yeah, these are the first and last protector bots that will ever be made.
So naive. Like they're probably hoping that they say that, oh, we owe you guys. Yeah, you do.
Why don't you sign on this here and says that you owe us, not the other way around. Securetronics Unlimited is not long for this world. Let's just say that.
Okay. It's just, and she figures out how many toes it's going to cost. And then another bad line. That this movie, the one problem with it is there's really no good like catchphrases, right? Because she's like, oh, we have to do 21,800, like however many toes, and he goes, maybe we'll have to start hiring, like making our rates higher. That sucks. It's such a bad catchphrase. We'll have to raise our rates. That's what he says.
Yeah.
I guess to raise our rates. Boo.
There is one quality line in this movie, and we'll get to that. It's not there. It's not here yet. So Greg starts getting into it with the girls, asking why they didn't stay in the air shaft and why they didn't just force Susie to stay there. And Ferdy gets an idea to get to the master computer on the 3rd level. So Greg starts losing it over the loss of Susie, starts running around the mall to get to the 3rd floor. As he gets to the top of the escalator, he turns to look at the rest of the group to tell them to hurry up, and then one of the bots comes up from behind, grabs him, and tosses him over the railing to his death. Then that bot chases after them. Then the one from the 1st floor comes up to the other escalator. They both start shooting at them until the group has to sneak under a shuttered door to a department store. The group tries to block the door as best they can. They make a move to the 3rd floor via the escalator inside the department store. Meanwhile, the bots are trying to get to the 3rd floor from the mall escalators. Allison suggests that they should split up in order to increase their chances of getting to the control room. Ferdy tells her that's insane. And then Linda yells at Ferdy, then apologizes, telling him, I guess I'm just not used to being chased around the mall in the middle of the night by killer robots, which is the quote of the movie.
It just sums up the movie perfectly.
Yeah.
I did love how it's so adorable how the killer robots take the escalator up.
Yeah.
It's like, because I was thinking, like, how are they going to get around? Everything shut down. Oh, that's right. I guess they control everything now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's just so cute to see them. Just like you see the little visor head just pop up.
I love their flailing arms. Where they're just like,
Yeah, it's like a Muppet.
Yeah.
Ah.
They're trying to make themselves look bigger. like they're trying to scare off a bear.
The killer robots are more afraid of you than you are of them.
One of the robots tries to solder its way into the shutter as the group attempts to rest. After a while, they hear the bot break through the door, and Allison has an idea on how to create a diversion. So the group line up a bunch of mannequins to hide behind as they shoot at the bot. The bot, confused, shoots at the mannequins, and the group also unveils mirrors, which I guess the lasers bounce off of and come back and hit the bot, frying its circuits. The group runs off as the bot starts spinning crazily, shooting its laser all over the place. For some reason, Rook decides to stay behind and shoot at the bot, which up until this point has had zero effect. This decision causes Linda to stop and shout for Rick, and is then struck in the chest by an errant laser, killing her. Upset, Rick decides to jump on a slow-moving cart of sorts and runs into the bot as he shoots an AK at it, then gets electrocuted by the bot as it malfunctions. Then Rick dies and the bot blows up, destroyed. This is the silliest death of the whole movie.
So pointless.
Easily avoidable.
Yeah, this reminded me of the scene in Austin Powers where he's on the steamroller. And the henchman's like, stop! And the camera pans out and he's like a football field away from him.
Yeah.
And he's just slowly going towards him. What a terrible anticlimactic way to avenge your wife.
Yeah. Like he should have just ran at it.
Right, I was just gonna say, why not just run at the damn thing? What are you gonna do with this little golf cart?
Yeah.
It goes a maximum of 2 miles an hour.
It's like one of those scooters that fat people have to drive.
Right. Jesus, it's like if I were the actor, I would have protested that. Like, no, come on, man, don't kill me that way. There's gotta be a cooler way for me to go out. My wife just died. I'm not gonna like ram into it.
Right. Like he should like that. So that bot in this movie, that's the end of this bot. So he should have just like went berserk on it, right? Should have go full rage, right? Barbarian style, rip off its head or something like that, and then he gets electrocuted while he's doing that, and and then it blows up. Yeah.
Or kamikaze that shit, take a Molotov cocktail and just run right into the damn thing.
Yeah.
Go out in a blaze of glory, man.
Well, I mean, in his defense, he did try to kamikaze it with the slowest moving vehicle he could find.
It's just so pathetic.
It's just like it hits the robot, ding, and it just falls off.
Oh man, I felt so bad for that guy. Oh man, that's how you go out in a horror movie. That's awful. It's like one of the top 10 worst deaths in a horror movie. It's got to be.
Yeah, definitely. And it's so avoidable. There's no reason why he should stay behind it in the first place, just to shoot at it, because we've already established these things are bulletproof.
Right.
You should be running with the rest of your group.
Yeah, trying to be the hero.
Mm-hmm. So we are down to our last two survivors. Allison and Ferdy finally split up to go look for the computer. They both wind up in the administrative parts of the mall, walking down eerily quiet hallways. Alice eventually makes it to some sort of storage room, and the bot sneaks up on her and starts approaching her with those hilarious little arms flailing. She screams, which has Ferdy come running. He makes it to her and manages to shoot the bot in the laser, causing it to malfunction. It gives chase to Ferdy, and they wind up back outside in the mall. Ferdy unloads the gun into the bot, and then in one last ditch effort throws the gun and then a fire extinguisher at it. The bot picks up the extinguisher and then fires it back at Ferdy. He hits the ground hard, and the back of his head is bleeding, presumably dead. The bot chases after Allison, and she winds up in a pet store. She hides under some shelves as the bot comes in. The bot searches for her, knocking over terrariums filled with snakes and tarantulas, which wind up crawling all over Allison. I was pretty sure it wasn't going to happen, but I was going to turn this movie off if any of those dogs got hurt.
Yeah. I thought I did think an animal was going to get hurt there, because those are real snakes, spiders, and everything there is real.
I think for the most part they are. There are points where like there are tarantulas that do not seem to be moving as they crawl on her.
I think I think for the wide shots they were real.
Yeah.
But
I think they were nice to Kelly Maroney, and they were like, all right, yeah, we'll get some fake ones.
Come on, you got to get the real, the real feel for it.
That's what separates Jim Wynorski from Alfred Hitchcock.
Just throwing tarantulas on your leading actress and just like causing irreparable psychological damage.
That's what the greats do. Hitchcock, Kubrick, If you want to play with the big boys, man, you got to emotionally scar young women.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hell of a performance, right guys? Right, gang? Come on.
Can't deny it. I mean, sometimes, you hate to say the ends justify the means, but
right. It's really, obviously it's shitty what was done to some of these actresses, but holy shit, man, these movies, these are like some of the best horror movie moments are done because of this, and it's like, yeah, it could have been done, probably could have been done better.
Yeah.
But that's just how it was, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Still shitty though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't want people to think like, is he like advocating for psychological abuse? I'm not.
No, there are better ways to get these performances. God damn the Shelley Duvall not giving an excellent performance in The Shining.
Yeah, just again, it's a top 10.
Yeah.
Pure terror, and it's actual terror.
Yep. Yeah. So the bot searches for her, knocking over terrariums with snakes. She remains quiet, and the bot moves on into the mall. When the coast is clear, Allison starts to come out of the pet store, but a cat jumps from out of nowhere, causing her to scream, and the bot backtracks towards her direction, causing a chase again. As the bot searches for her, Allison hangs off the side of the railing out of view. Eventually, as it's searching for her, her body strength gives way, and she falls all the way to the first floor, landing on a tent, and a bunch of luggage breaks her fall. She then smashes her whole body through the plate glass window of the paint store and starts dumping paint and paint remover all over the ground. She calls for the robot to come to her and then hides. As it breaks through the glass, that wheel starts to spin into the paint and paint remover. And Allison lights the flare she keeps and throws into the paint store, which then explodes and the bot is destroyed. As Allison picks herself up off the ground and walks off, Ferdy calls out to her and they embrace. And that's the end, except for an end credit freeze frame ending. As one of the bots says, "Thank you, have a nice day." And that's the end of Chopping Mall. What a movie. What a picture.
One thing, I'm upset that there wasn't a whole lot of chopping movie.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I was just going to say no chopping, 0 out of 10.
Yeah, false advertising.
Yeah.
What a picture.
A lot of fun, for sure. Again, this is definitely, it's not going to be for everybody. That's for damn sure. But it's a lot of fun. It's so campy. If that's your kind of movie, I mean, Chopping Mall it's top tier camp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's great. I love it.
Yeah.
It could use more chopping. That's, I think, how all of us will make this movie better. More chopping, more Dick Miller.
Yeah, I was really hoping Dick Miller would kind of accidentally stumble upon the teens, quote unquote teens, because no way any of them are teenagers. The 80s. And so, yeah, I was kind of hoping he would be one of the last survivors, and then he kind of gives himself, he sacrifices himself.
Yeah.
I wanted the fat guy who talks about wanting more butter, wanted him to die. I thought some of the other janitors could have died as well, like the really shitty janitors who were making fun of Dick Miller.
Yeah.
But that's about it. But it's so self-contained. It tells, like you said, it's definitely it's a simple story. Killer robots and teenagers banging, and then that's a recipe for success.
Yeah. Can't deny that recipe. Yeah. I got nothing else. Hey, you guys want to plug your? Wait, is Angus Scrimm is in this movie? Who's Dr. Carrington?
Who is that?
Angus Scrimm is the tall man from Phantasm.
Shit, is he?
Yeah, I don't remember who Dr. Carrington is.
Was he one of the guys who like watches the robots? Is he one of the Watchmen?
I don't think so. No.
What was he? Was he Technician Nestler, right? No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at someone else.
It's Garrett Graham. Technician Marty and Technician Nestler. But there's Dr. Carrington. I wonder if he's in the beginning.
Is he the one giving the presentation?
That's Dr. Simon. I wonder if he's one of like the people that asks a question.
Oh yeah, that could be it. Because they asked some pretty dumb questions. The one question I love is like, how do we know that guy in the video is not dead? He's not. Just take our word for it.
It's like also it's a movie of sorts.
Right. I just love like the guy. There's no answer for it. The doctor doesn't really give an answer. Like, yeah, no, he's just incapacitated. Oh, okay. I just take your word for it, I guess.
Yeah. You guys want to plug your shit? I think we're done.
Yeah, I'm good here. At the Aquino 122 is my personal Twitter account. You could also follow our Real Play D&D podcast, Stranger Damies, at Stranger Damies on Twitter. We talk D&D, movies, anything like that, and you can get the updated schedule for when the podcast drops. So go check that out.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah, so Stranger Damies, as Dan mentions, airs every other Wednesday, so be sure to check it out. Anywhere you get your podcasts, be sure to like and leave a review. We also have the Game Vault podcast. The airs every other Monday, and you can find that on all podcast services. We're on all socials at Game Vault Pod. We also have a Twitch channel, twitch.tv/GameVaultPod, where we stream about 4 to 5 nights a week. Variety gamers, some RPGs, some first-person shooters, a co-op game, just do a whole bunch. Just go to the Twitter feed, and you'll be able to keep up with our schedule there. And, be sure to come check it out. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, including our YouTube channel as well for that. And if you have Prime Gaming, feel free to send your free Twitch subscription over to us. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Okay, great. And we are They Called This a Movie. You could find us on Spreaker just by searching They Called This a Movie. We're also available on all podcast streaming apps. Just search for They Called This a Movie. We are themaindamey.com. That's our main website. You can find articles and these shows there. You can also find us on all socials just by searching The Main Damies. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just look for The Main Damey and we will pop right up. We are also proud member of Geek Vibes Nation. You can find them at gbnation.com and on all socials and all podcast streaming apps just by searching Geek Vibes Nation. Tons of great shows. If you're into geek stuff, surely there's something there for you. We're on TikTok at They Called This Movie. Just search for They Called This Movie on TikTok and we will show up there. You got a question for us, you want to hit us up with a movie recommendation, you could find us. You could send us an email at themaindamey@gmail.com. And if you've got some time, if you really want to help us out, if you like the show, please go on to your podcast streaming app of choice. Give us a 5-star review. Tell us we suck. As long as you give us those 5 stars, it doesn't really matter. And that's about it. That's going to wrap us up this week. The director of Chopping Mall was Jim Wynorski. So, for Dan Aquino and Mark Myers, this is Anthony Del Vecchio telling Jim Wynorski, well, you certainly made a movie.